well, but with one of those beam splitter glass is what it's called. But anyway, we're live. Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, welcome to the Beacon TVL Show, the weekly podcast from Beacon DeFi, your beacon in the world of decentralized finance. I'm your host, Professor Chris. We've got a great show lined up for you as we tackle the news of the week that's relevant to you, our dear users in the world of on-chain investing. Today on the show, we have from the premier lending AMM of the Injective blockchain system. Did I say that right? Injective blockchain system ecosystem.
Yeah.
We have co-founder Chase. Hello, sir. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, great to be here.
I actually had to look it up because we talk all the time, but you actually haven't been on the show since March. So thanks for being here today. It's been a minute.
Oh yeah, I guess you asked me to come on and I had to pass it over to a buddy before, but yeah, it has been since March.
Yeah, a really good buddy too, Mike Kitt from Netcoins. We had him on I think last week or the week before. Really, really great guy. Really, really appreciate you introducing us, having Mike as a friend of the show.
Yeah, Mike's a great guy to chat with.
Yeah, Mike's a great guy to chat with. Great mind, great analysis. And then, of course, making his grand return from our partners at BitTensor subnet number 8, the proprietary trading network, we have Lord of DevRel himself, Ken from Taoshi and Glitch Financial. How are you, sir?
What's going on, everyone? Man, now I actually want to make my title Lord of DevRel. That's pretty sweet. But pleasure to be here as always, Chris. That is. I might actually. You're going to go on my LinkedIn and see Lord of DevRel next.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Let's do it. It's funny because I have like a gazillion titles, but really it's just co-founder for me.
Titles are pretty fluid.
Yeah, they're very fluid, right? Like, what's the big before it was like chief of staff, before it was contributor, ecosystem lead. What's it now? It's a CT lead. Is the current popular title. But
every time I like you just switch your title on LinkedIn and instantly get your next job is instantly like, oh, you're a senior now. Let me give you a senior salary.
Yeah, they're like, congrats on the new job change. I'm like, nothing changed. Nothing changed. So I wanted to make our open today a little bit because actually when Luke was on, Ken, I actually wore the Taoshi shirt, so it's in the wash. Otherwise, I'd wear it here for you today. But I am not above wearing project merch and swag. So I'm just curious from you guys. And by the way, thanks to Jeff at DeFi Dev, the big Solana treasury company, for this deep effing DeFi value hat.
That's awesome.
Supra oracles, just super chain, but for the shirt and then the socks. Can't forget the socks.
Oh, yeah.
From Pulley, from the I think it's the trading platform. Either way, very good socks. So thanks for those. So I just want to know from you guys, how much of your wardrobe is event gear? And be honest.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I'd say I rock the hats all the time, but usually only for a couple months, and then I'll take it on a trip and not want to wear it back and just leave them. But yeah, the nightwear and then the hats are pretty much exclusively crypto gear, and then everything else is still
civilian. Yeah, I don't really wear. I mean, unless I'm going to the gym, to be honest with you, I don't really wear swag like that because I'm one of those people, right? I've always liked dressing. I've always liked, my wife will sometimes be like, hey, you should put this on. I got to appeal to my wife too. So it's like some of it's kind of nerdy, even though I'm a huge nerd. I mean, I just had a Darkwing Duck shirt. So, it depends. I'm not going to go to like a restaurant and maybe wear a swag. You got to look presentable. Maybe I don't know. So I have a lot. My wardrobe has a lot of these swag items, but I don't wear them that often, I'd say.
Now, and in Denver, I got some sweaters that I haven't worn them for a few months, but they were pretty nice. Yeah,
sweaters. Wow, I haven't seen that at a thing. Sweaters and socks, for that matter.
Oh, socks is a must pick up for me. Whenever I see socks, I'm like, give me the socks.
Yeah, I pick a shot. I would pick socks over a shirt, and maybe I would
Absolutely.
pick a sweater over socks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You gotta fly with it though. That's the catch.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
That's the
You're
thing,
right.
right? Socks is an easy grab for me, but yeah, for me, hoodies are always great because it's just always cold where I am here in my basement.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
would love to have an easier way. I always if I go to Denver, when I go to certain events, I always bring a really easy collapsible 30-liter duffel because I know I'm bringing that stuff back.
Smart.
But
what do
well,
you do with the stuff, Chris?
well, unfortunately, I have. Oh, I don't know.
Wow.
I'm looking
You're
because
looking
this
at
is my studio is also my maker space, so I have like on my workbench I have like 5 or 6 gigantic bags of things like hats specifically. So I need to give this stuff away. That's what I'm going to be doing, of course, and I need to get back in the habit of that because I even bought a scale, to print out all the postage and stuff like that. So I need to get back on that train. So, yeah, if you are a protocol and you want me to wear your gear on stream, feel free to send it.
You're gonna get a whole bunch of, but that would be cool though. Like those YouTubers, those personalities that like get stuff sent to them. I've always wanted to be one of those people until you actually get all this stuff sent to you, and it's like I have too much stuff.
Exactly. So Bamboo Labs, if you are watching this show,
that would be cool swag.
I would like the new. What is it? The X2H or whatever it's called. The brand new tall platform they've got going on for 3D printers. I would love that. That'd be amazing.
You got to send me pictures of your makerspace too at some point. I'd like to. I had one, but now that we moved, and this is my typical office, but I don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
I never used my 3D printer either, so my makerspace was. I didn't really ever use it, so I'd like to see what setup you got.
Oh, it's not that glamorous. Don't worry about it. It's literally. I bought those. Those muscle racks are like those. They're called muscle. I mean, that's the brand, but they're just really large, metallic open bookshelves that has like plywood on it. I saw a trick where someone made a fake wall by taking 2 of those and putting them together and then screwing 2x4s into the legs, and then they could actually mount drywall on the back side of that. I'm like, that is brilliant, especially if you can get the muscle racks and just put like casters or something on the bottom. And now you've got a fake wall you can move anywhere. And I know, Ken, you're a video dude, so I know for sure that you could use a tip like that. But because for me personally, it's like I would love to have like a separate closed off space for noise cancellation and all that. But man, it's
I mean that's the thing. If me and my wife we've been looking at. I know we're probably not even on like our agenda, but we've been looking at a house too. So like, I'm like, oh, could this be my makerspace? Could this be my video filming area? So I hear you. Yeah.
No, and that's actually a great point because I was actually thinking of that, like, because, I have kids and they're loud, having a space to do more video content. But I was thinking, I'm like, I could pay this much for my mortgage and then go out and pay double that for a decent studio space. Why not just triple my mortgage and get both a studio space and a better house all in one shot? Chase, are you familiar with Vancouver YouTubers?
Honestly, there's only 1 or 2. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Morley Kent is his name. No, he's an American who lives in Vancouver, but he did that. He actually had a space along with his 2-bedroom apartment, and he was paying like total like $4,800 for both. So he found a better house that has a yard and has enough room for his space, and roughly about the same price. And I was just like, I think that's a much better play, especially if you don't want to leave the house, I guess.
That's me, bro.
Me too.
You can cancel the office space a little easier than the mortgage.
That's true.
That's the catch. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the catch. Anyway,
the bear markets and bull markets. Hard to know where we're at these days.
That's a beautiful segue, Chase. I appreciate you for that, because ultimately we are in a spot where the markets are. People have said bleeding. I say that they are just reacting. They're very reactive, very volatile right now. Something I mentioned on my Twitter is just I would not be taking leverage right now in either direction. I mean, we saw nearly $1 trillion extracted from the market through liquidations 2 days ago. And then over the weekend we had that really big downward move, and we're seeing recoveries. And I think a lot of people are, well, it's not even people, I think it's a lot of just smoke and mirrors from a lot of market manipulation that's out there. But currently we're seeing Bitcoin at 115, Ethereum back up above 3,600, which is good to see. And even XRP getting ready to reclaim that $3 level. So we'll talk more about some of these other spots in here, but if we look at bubbles, that probably sells a better story as opposed with regards to what is actually happening with the market. We're seeing a lot of altcoin and beta plays starting to make up ground from where they were from last week. So even though we're 6% on the day, we can go this way, and it's pretty red on the whatever this is with pump. We're not going to touch that today. But overall for the month, we're still seeing from where we were last month, a much better spot with regards to allocations from where we are. So it's like, I would say for anybody who's watching this and curious to know how to interpret this, I would say just keep with the course. We're going to have these pullbacks and then moves back up. So Chase, I'll start with you. If any thoughts specifically on the charts for the last month?
I think it's more of a repricing. So crypto's been beaten down on the alts for quite a while now, and a lot of these have sold off way more than I would expect at this point in the cycle, especially with Bitcoin and even now ETH kind of picking back up. It's still 20 or 25% below its all-time high, something like that for ETH. So we probably will see this trend continue, in my opinion, but we may take a little pause for a week or two as everybody kind of resets to this. I wouldn't even say hype. It's just a repricing to what maybe is more neutral and bullishness.
Yeah, I agree. So, Ken, you work at a signals type of spot. Give me some insight on, at least from what you guys have been looking at from that model standpoint. Luke was saying that your crypto and Forex ones are doing really well. Is that reflective? Do you think it's just market repricing for a lot of this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of repricing. I mean, that's outside of Bitcoin, of course, but Forex, that I think it's a lot of repricing. Now within crypto, I mean, I think Bitcoin's just gone up. I think we're just kind of settling after this massive pump as well too. I mean, alts now I think they're starting to get a little bit charged, because I think we could potentially have a good 6 months of, left of this bull run. So I think, they're kind of getting a little charged up now. We'll see. But yeah, I think it's kind of a rebalancing as well. And that's kind of what we're seeing at Taoshi too with Forex as well. So we'll see what happens in the next 6 months, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, with tariffs being what they are and how countries are, reciprocating, how that's affecting, hard coin assets and stuff like that. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my eye specifically on the end carry trade again, because I do wonder if there's going to be some movement there, because that seems to have a really interesting effect on the way that a lot of risk on assets really react. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next part of the news part of the show. I just wanted to say that congrats to Henkel. We had them on our Twitter space. We do Twitter spaces now every Tuesday, roughly around 2 p.m. Eastern. We had them on yesterday because they are launching their wallet this week. For those who are unaware of Henkel, it is an invisible wallet that works with these 6 chains. Currently, they're going to be moving to Solana soon. And basically what it is you create a new wallet, and then it's kind of like a proxy wallet that no one can see inside. If you try and put your address into Etherscan, won't show up. And it's a really cool way to really, especially in this environment, and if you're a power user, a good wallet for privacy, because that's something that maybe a lot of people in this space don't want. They don't want to have their activities tracked, especially if they're well known. Having a privacy wallet, I think, is very important.
So Chris, you can add a 0x address to something like Etherscan from Henkel, and it'll just be zeroed out information?
Well, the address that you get from Hinkle is actually, I think it's like 34 characters.
Okay. So it's not the.
Yeah, it's kind of like having when you add a wallet, when you add a credit card to Apple Pay or Android Pay, Google Pay rather, and then they just give like a different virtual number each. Like I said, you can check out the space.
Yeah. I know
hear more about how it works. It's really cool though.
Yeah.
They're launching their wallet with beta this week, so if you're interested in wanting to learn more, please reach out to me. Happy to get you in on that beta. They're happy to give us some codes for that. Other thing I wanted to say, congrats to Axel. Axel was here 2 weeks ago on the show. They actually had a huge and basically they were like, stake in, get the best stablecoin yields. But one thing they just released, because they were still in beta, they're live and they launched with an amazing partner in MoonPay. So congrats to the Axel team, to Cozy and Eric and them. They're rebranding a bit as a virtual savings account. So with MoonPay as a partner, this is very, very big for them. So if you caught that show a couple weeks ago, definitely check out Axel. It's live now. So congrats to them. Wanted to just give them a quick shout out because they've launched and gone live. So big news from last week. It came out after the show. We were hoping to have that stuff out before the show so we could talk about it last week. The White House Crypto Policy Report, also known as the Strengthening American Leadership in Digital Financial Technology Report. That's a really cool look at the White House. It's 160 pages, and I appreciate that they have acronyms and abbreviations first. Whoever thought of this idea, based, very cool, very good. But what I wanted to talk about are two things. The first is literally what is on the second page of this report. And for me, this is the part that is the most interesting. American citizens and businesses should be able to own digital assets and use blockchain technologies for lawful purposes without fear of prosecution. Likewise, American entrepreneurs and software developers should have the liberty and regulatory certainty to upgrade all sectors of our economy using these technologies. Two very powerful sentences. You can partner that with President Trump's speech from 3 days ago, where he said, "Crypto will be as important to American society as the birth of the internet."
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, and yet there are still people who won't touch crypto. 7 months ago, I wouldn't blame them, to be quite honest. We knew we had an upward battle. So, and frankly, Chase, up there where you are, I don't know if the sentiment for crypto is any better. But to hear, an actual administration really pivot to this after having such a hardline stance in the other direction, man, that is a huge shift in mindset.
Yeah, I mean, up where I'm at in Canada, we kind of just take a half step to Europe and a half step to the US. So whenever the US pushes further in one direction, Canada will eventually, take a half step towards that. But Canada's been very neutral, I'd say, towards crypto, but the US has been pretty negative up until the administration prior. So yeah, Canada hasn't really changed anything since US's prior administration.
Well, I'm hoping that
changes. This is it's more about the media and about sentiment and what people are thinking, and what the SEC is doing and how that hits the news.
Yeah, and we'll actually talk about it in a minute.
Yeah,
completely.
So,
agree.
And this is long overdue. Everyone knows it. I've been chatting. You're not chiming in, trying to get some sort of understanding of what's going to come. Back in 2017, even locally here, chatting with regulators and then meeting, it was like still we didn't really get much out of it over 5, 6, 7 years. So finally something's happening. It just kind of sucks that it's under the cloud of Trump and all his personal investments that will definitely benefit from everything, which could cause some reversals in 3 years' time, sort of thing. That's just what I'm worried about, is if we go too far down the crypto legalization side, or not even legalization, just clarity, then, and Trump makes tons and tons of money off of it, crypto could still have this appeal to it that it's just fraudsters and scammers and whatnot, and now it's just coming from the top, and it won't really fix the I guess you say a lot of people won't touch it. It's one more reason that it's still got this kind of, not poison, but an appeal to it that is not really based on fundamentals.
That's true. That's a very fair take on that. Ken, what do you think about what the SEC? Well, not this is more just this is the actual working group on crypto and digital assets that the president created right after he was inaugurated. So this is 6 months of work coming into this specific initiative. But I just want to get your opinion. You know, as someone who's been watching this for a minute, I mean, this is a huge 180 shift.
Yeah. I mean, we were working in the, secrecy for the longest time. I mean, these things were out, but they kept getting, stepped on a little bit by a lot of, Uniswap, all these different types of things. So, and the thing is, a lot of these things we are building in our basements, and, that millions of people are using them. So, I mean, this is nice. It's nice to hear it. We'll see kind of sort of what comes out of it. It's kind of giving us the green light to continue to build. But I'm a little bit like, all right, let's see what actually comes out of this. It's nice to hear it, but let's see what comes out of it. But it's nice to be recognized, and software developers, they specifically said that too. So as a software developer, that's exciting. They're acknowledging me and our hard work. So, but I'm still a little skeptical. Yeah, I feel a little seen. I do. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I did want to shout out, because I could have just gone and spent the time, really diving in there, but I'm going to go ahead and just use Eli DeFi 5's material. Really great creator. Follow him on Twitter if you don't already. And basically, he just went and broke this down into the real big portions that what Project Crypto, which is kind of what also launched from the SEC alongside of this, and that's another big part that has been created out as I guess like a bolt-on for the White House crypto policy report, is this new Project Crypto. And you're going to be hearing a lot from the SEC chair talking a lot more about DeFi in a much more authoritative and frankly much more respectful way, which I think is really great. So looking at what the whole point of Project Crypto is all about is to help bring business back into the United States. Hopefully this brings a surge of innovation and jobs that aren't affected by AI. I'm saying that for people who are scared, because don't worry, AI is not going to really eliminate your job, at least in this space. Having clearer asset classification, custody and trading upgrades. I think that's going to be really interesting with the emergence, and we've talked about this, multiple ecosystems building moats on how to get the better onboarding experience for users who are going to be coming into this space. DATS, I didn't know they were calling it DATS, but that is a digital asset treasury company. There are multiple companies now that literally are publicly traded, reverse merged, literally coming in with raises to have digital asset treasuries, whether it's ETH, BTC, Hype, Tau, and I think I saw, what's another one that I see? XRP is probably another that I keep hearing. But we're going to see more and more of these companies have war chests specifically with digital assets that they're either going to hold or then put through maybe dark pools or other type of less public ways to earn on that to keep the revenue coming in from there. So with the Genius Act being approved, we're going to see a tokenization explosion coming very, very soon. Along with the president's well, I have to be very accurate on that, with Trump Media's Truth Social ETF, which will create a specific crypto reserve of BTC, ETH, SOL, XRP and Kronos, which is crypto.com's coin. There will also, nothing has been said about the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve or another secondary federal digital asset treasury. They've been very quiet about that. I don't know if any of that's going to happen, but seeing what Project Crypto is all about, Chase, we'll start with you. Do you think that this starts a very large move upwards from here to the end of the year?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've been on that trend for a while. The cycle's pointing at that for sure. Whether it gets overheated, I'm not too sure because it's a little bifurcated in terms of what this rally has been and probably continue to be. But yeah, anytime that crypto is brought up in a positive sentiment again and again and again for many, many weeks and months is just going to pull the whole market up. And it's hard to see anything derailing that currently with the way the administration's been plowing through as fast as possible. So yeah, and the DATs, I guess I haven't really heard that term yet, but the treasury companies,
treasury companies, TCs is what I've been calling them.
Yeah, I mean those have just taken off for Ethereum the last couple months here. Right now, there's a few Bitcoin ones, but it's still like Sailor taking all the spotlight. But the Ethereum is just starting. So, and the way that these are being structured is being more and more creative with how the debt can be convertible, and then there's a million different ways that you can structure these things. So, I think we're going to see a lot more of that. That's just going to drive more buying, more speculation, with the tail end risk being if everybody is following this trend, and we could get to a point where when the trend reverses, it gets really, really dangerous. The same things we've seen in crypto time and time again, we could see play out in the traditional markets, which could be 10x of what we've seen previously in terms of capital flowing in. 100x, I should say, in what's possible, but I don't think we will see quite that bad. But that's my concern. But so far, and up until the end of the year, absolutely, yeah. Bulls
exactly. And
galore.
Ken, you can make the argument, Ken, that the last couple of really bad moves down were quote unquote helpful entries for a lot of these treasury companies and other organizations looking to buy in at a lower price. Overall, your same thoughts on how this is going to look towards the end of the year?
I'm excited. I mean, crypto was like this cool club, like that we were a part of like 4 or 5 years ago. Now it's up, which is what we want. We wanted it to open it up. Look at this guy's face. Do we want these people involved? It just makes me feel like, my 76-year-old father is getting involved in crypto, which is cool because we need that type of stuff and we want everyone to get involved with crypto. But I think it's going to be good things in the future, but I am missing my cool little club, but we do want this thing to grow. So I'm excited. We do need rules and stuff around this, and we need these people involved. But there's a part of me where it's like, man, my darling crypto's setting sail. I'm the mama bird and it's leaving. So, but I think I'm excited. I'm excited for the future.
No, I agree. I mean, as much as we love what we build, we're gonna have to have it go mainstream, right? We want full scale adoption. We want really good experiences. We want people to be confident in what's going on. I know in the earlier days when we see people kind of get into crypto and they're really freaked out because it's open 24/7 as opposed to 8 to 4:30 Eastern for most major global markets. So it is a shift in how people are going to look, but at the same time, with all of the things that they're pushing, specifically with the SEC about self-custody and how Chair Atkins literally said that it is part of the DNA of the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Basically, DeFi, same DNA, which such an interesting statement coming from him, but it echoes everything we've already known, what we've been talking about for the last 5-6 years in this space. It's all a matter of getting all of our friends and family and all of the random people out there watching the show to feel comfortable about getting into. So again, for all of your friends and family, DeFi is, whether you like it or not, is being well endorsed by some clearly vested parties in the United States administration. Don't get that twisted. People like Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick are going to greatly benefit from people coming into DeFi and using a lot of these services. So just know that at least you get the direct access as well as the control to self custody your assets and become your own bank. And I will segue real quick too. Go ahead, Chase.
I just want to add one extra point.
Go ahead.
I think the onshoring of businesses is going to be the most interesting to watch.
Yes.
Because there needs to be a big enough incentive, and they've been pushed around in the US for so long that why would you come back? It's like going back to the X, if you were already pushed out once and you don't know what's going to come in a few years' time.
Yeah.
And do all the work to reshore or come on shore for the first time. That's going to be the most interesting, because if we do see all these businesses open up in the US and try to work under this new framework, like Tether, for instance, that is a huge vote of confidence for where this trend is going. But if everybody kind of standoffish, wait and see, I don't think we'll see as many reshoring businesses as the administration may hope.
Well, I think we know what the carrot is going to be, and that's going to be zero business tax and capital gains with regards to businesses in the space for U.S. companies. This is why Tron has reverse merged into Tron Inc., now a U.S. company after. Have you heard that story?
No, I'm not too clued in on.
Yeah, so we covered it on the show when it happened like 6 weeks ago. Basically, they found a company. It was called SRM Entertainment. They create merchandise for entertainment brands. Like they make like water bottles for movies and lunch boxes and stuff like that. And suddenly now they are now reverse merged into Tron Incorporated, a publicly traded company, where Justin Sun will now have a US-based company to bring Tether and all that wonderful stuff into the fold, because Tether doesn't have a MiCA or a MiCA license in the EU. They'll get one now here in the US because $50 billion in USDT is on Tron. So yeah, and I think to your point, I think there will be a lot of more of these companies, whether they're treasury companies or whatever. So more foreign entities that are in crypto can get the benefits of being in the US as they've positioned themselves to become the global leader in crypto, which is something that's a very important initiative for the president. Whether through his business acumen, his ego, however you want to look at it, him and his administration are very big on making the US the leader of everything with crypto and digital assets. So how the next 24 months are going to play out is going to be very interesting. But yeah, to your point, onshoring businesses, getting them back in the fold from being pushed out, I think it's already helped, right? Coinbase is already back in the US. Well, technically not, but with their partnerships, with the New York Stock Exchange. Other businesses like Ava Labs from Avalanche, they're based in New York. We have more businesses coming back, setting up shop in the US to try and take advantage of that. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting look at how more decentralized entities will find their way back in the US to really take advantage of that, because they're going to need that moving forward, specifically to get more of this onshoring, around. So yeah, great point on that. Speaking of that, I want to say, of course, thank you to Ken, thank you to Chase for being here on panel today. If you've liked what you heard, please check us out here at our free group, TVL Total Value Locked, from Beacon DeFi, the premium brand of onboarding and DeFi education in this space. Check out our Start Here post and get a message from myself and Andrew. Find out more about what we do, get some free content on how to get your toes dipped into decentralized finance and blockchain investing, and have your crypto and digital assets work for you. That's really the key. You don't need to just hold and trade. You can do way more with that and earn a ton of really valuable risk-adjusted rates. Check out great protocols like Tausch and Glitch Financial, or over at Neptune Finance in the Injective ecosystem, one of the best places to supply and borrow in that ecosystem. And thanks everybody for being here. So yeah, check it out. Absolutely free. School.com/beacon. There's a comment I wanted to highlight. Greg, for Hinkle, they had to do some minor changes. So next week, maybe next week, for that. If you're interested in Hinkle, join their Telegram. That's where you're going to find most of the announcements for what they're going to be doing in the next week. All right, let's move on to the next thing on the agenda, which is another thing from the SEC, which is liquid staking activities are no longer considered security type activities. So you are free to do these. Rather, the correct way it was pronounced is the SEC is not enforcing this because they don't believe that this type of stuff falls within their purview. So this is a big win for DeFi, for LSTs or liquid stake tokens, liquid stake derivative tokens. This is pretty big news for those who are worried about, specifically with the Genius Act, about yield-bearing assets and stuff like that. So, Chase, I'll start with you. If you have any specific opinions on this, a lot of people in the timeline are fairly bullish on this. In the Cosmos ecosystem, staking is a very popular activity for earning on your assets. So the fact that you can do liquid staking without any penalty, at least from the US SEC, this is good news.
So is this just saying that it doesn't fall under their purview, and does it go under the Commodities and Futures Trading Commission?
Well, if that's the case, the CFTC actually has a much more relaxed look at this. So you won't have any issues with liquid staking based off of this announcement.
But so this is just like clarity then. It's not really
exactly
anything more than the SEC saying we're not touching this.
Yep.
Positive, sure, but
sure.
Yeah, it doesn't really provide much clarity though in terms of what it will be in the future.
True, that is true. But what it does do is, for people who may have been on the fence on should I do liquid staking, this is something that is actually quite good for what they're calling custodial staking. I'm sorry, the fourth type known as liquid staking, which, for those who are not aware, this actually helps with the composability of assets in decentralized finance. In general, if you were staking an asset, you would do so at a validator. And while it's being staked there, earning yield for helping with the infrastructure, you can't touch it. A liquid stake token gives you a bit of a marker token. So it represents your position in the ecosystem for earning yield. Plus, it'll actually, from, I guess, all of the remaining staking within the platform, share that with you. So it's actually a bit of a rebasing token. In addition, there are multiple spots in DeFi where you can now bridge that token. Not all of them, but for the majority of them, like for all the ETH and all the ETH ones specifically. And let's say for things like Hyperliquid, you can go and take those assets and then use them at a lending AMM, earn even more yield. The idea of having what are called money Legos with composability is actually really important. It shows that you can stretch your yield, you can have your assets working in multiple ways, and now you can do so without having to worry about at least the regulatory risk of having that in your portfolio. Your thoughts, Ken?
Yeah, I mean, I guess going back to what kind of Chase was saying, it's a statement. So it's a statement that will help certain people who are kind of not decided on this. I mean, I've always loved the money Lego type thing where you get this token back, you can move it around, you could do different things with it. I always thought that was so fascinating, and still is. So for users who aren't doing something like it, that even opens up the door. You have this token back, that represents something. You could use that for other different things. What more could you build on top of that? So this could even help builders feel like, okay, well, now I'm sort of having the go ahead. Let's see what else I can build. Let's see what else I can do with this money Legos type thing. So could open the door for, people to say, hey, I'm going to participate in this, and give some developers who are like, well, I'm not really sure what this could represent, could open the door for them as well. And I think that that's such a powerful thing, this money Legos thing. So I'm all for it. I think it's fascinating, and double your yield, triple your yield. Who knows? But multiply it in some fashion. I think it's fascinating. So I think it just opens up the door for more innovation. And I mean, it's just a statement, but a statement in itself. They're acknowledging it. So what does that mean? Could give the go ahead for some people. So I think it's positive for sure.
I think
Does
it's
that mean
helpful specifically. Go ahead.
No taxing on the staking rewards.
Is that kind of sort of, that would be awesome.
Well, because there's a couple different ways you can create the LST. You could do a claim model, or it just goes up in value as the token. So if it's under the claim model, I could see that getting pretty messy. Or if you're claiming and you have all of these, weekly or monthly rewards coming in that you're using elsewhere, so the other LST, you don't have to pay for those distributions to the token value. Mm-hmm. So it's just interesting how this will have to play out, because it's just a statement. Has anything really changed? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but you tapped on the one thing that a lot of people are probably curious about. Does that really touch it from a tax standpoint? And I believe the answer to that is, again, not financial advice, do your research. Yes.
If you claim?
No, if you just create, because generally if you swap between the two assets, technically that could be a taxable event, but this kind of doesn't really fall under that if you do it that way. My personal favorite way to do this is, you go to a liquid staking provider like Lido, for example. You have ETH, you get ST-ETH as a marker token, and of course your ETH goes into Lido's validator stack to earn yield within their gigantic staking farm, and then you can go take that ST-ETH and use it at Uniswap, for example, making an LP pool between ETH and ST-ETH. So as people go and swap between the two assets, you'll actually earn a piece of that trade every time it happens. So it's just a really easy way to create some really quick passive income streams on something you were just probably going to stake and hold anyway, and enjoy multiple levels of yield. So that's one of my personal favorite plays. You can also take that ST-ETH and bring it to an AMM, stake it or supply it there, earn a yield for supplying it there, borrow some stable coins and farm those between 7 and 20%, and revel in the benefits of the profits you can have there from yield farming and stable coins. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can make really good yield with liquid staked assets. I think specifically for the correlated part, I love that because there's no impermanent loss, or very little impermanent loss, because it's pretty much the same asset, right? So there's that. This would have been an interesting thing to say in December of 2023 when Eigenlayer was about to pop off and go absolutely nuts. That would have been a much better statement then, but at least we have it now. So.
And it's just and I know you're doing this through Beacon, which is awesome, but if people could really there's this whole subsystem, this whole world that people could tap into, and it's like money Legos. You're just playing around with maybe however you see fit. We're looking at these comments here, Greg, and all that stuff. Greg might have a specific use case with how he wants to use his funds, how he wants to create a whole system for, I don't know, for himself. And these statements, of course, but that's what I find so interesting about crypto is these Legos where each person can build this portfolio or this ecosystem that best suits themselves. So these are statement pieces, but it's nice that they're being acknowledged. It's like, hey, you can sort of build how your money Legos, you could build this Lego set with however you see fit. So, and I think that that's the benefit of crypto too. And that's what's exciting. And these are statement pieces, but it's being acknowledged, which means they know about it. And it doesn't seem like they really want to hinder it now. So we'll see what Lego creations people come up with. We've already had some interesting stuff. So I'm excited.
It's actually in their best interest for certain people in the administration for this to go through, right? So yes, everybody gets to. What's great about crypto is that you now have direct access to all this, right? In decentralized finance, you don't have to go through a broker. You get to do this for yourself. So for people who want that power, that self-custody to make the choices they want and be in control of their finances. These statement pieces are just more reinforcement that you're doing something that is, frankly, should have been legal the entire time. That's my personal opinion. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next big news, and the next is really just reports at this point. We heard last week that GDP was up to 3% for the U.S., which is good. But one big thing that also came out were earnings reports for two very big players in our space. The first one is going to be a Coinbase, and it wasn't just earnings. It's actually the news that comes along with it that's the most important that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention. The first is perpetual futures are live in the US, specifically for Coinbase. They didn't have the best total revenue numbers. In fact, I believe they came in under what the street was looking for. So coin as a stock kind of went down off of that. But there's way more into this report that people haven't really looked at. The first is, and I don't think I see it here. Yes, they have a partnership with Chase. This partnership is interesting because it's going to allow anyone with a Chase card, like a Sapphire Reserve, for example. If you're big into traveling and getting points, you can redeem points for USDC. That's big. Chase customers will be able to easily onboard into Coinbase and vice versa with off-ramping. That's actually very, very big news because the on-ramping and off-ramping process is still a little messy with CEXs overall. Yeah, so that's a big thing. You don't have to worry about using Privy or Plaid or some of these other things. If you have a Chase account, you can go directly into Coinbase. They're doing this with a couple of different ones. The other one too, Samsung Pay, you can now use directly with Coinbase funds. Also big news. So that's they're starting to see the opening of Coinbase technology with X402, which is they took over the HTTP 402 status in the stack to now use that as a payment rail. This one's huge in my opinion. The partnership with Perplexity AI to help traders get access to real-time trusted crypto data. This means they have been feeding TA and all types of information into Perplexity for a while. So you get the ability to actually get that access. And I know that kind of steps on your toes a little bit again, but asking Perplexity, frankly, one of the best LLMs in the business for trading analysis and signals based on Coinbase data for who knows how long. That's a big thing. Partnership also with PNC Bank. I remember back in the day when we were onboarding people in our cohorts, there were a lot of people who in our group who used PNC Bank weren't allowed to get into crypto because they did not allow that to go in. So now that they actually have a partnership with Coinbase to come in is, good. This is just kind of crazy, but for me, those are the three biggest parts that are big. So we'll start with you, Chase, with regards to this move with it's not just the earnings, it's really all the other things they've done. They didn't even talk about the Deribit purchase here, which goes live at the end of the year for derivatives. But they're bringing everything up to Coinbase.com from Base, from everything else as well.
The thing that stood out to me was actually the Liquify. Because everything else I would expect, partnering with banks, great, yeah, on brand, Samsung on brand, Perplexity, still, on trend, maybe not on brand, but on trend.
Yeah.
But the Liquify one, that means they're trying to go further down the altcoin stacks and to get the teams using Coinbase as something deeper than just, an exchange. And then putting that together with some of these other things like the bank partnerships and other things, a lot of these crypto teams may be able to operate all of their finances through Coinbase, from payroll via crypto or via fiat, and also being able to manage your token supply and kind of have a one view of it all in the future. So that's just where my head's at. Maybe they acquired it for other reasons, but that's the one that stood out to me.
Yeah, GTM strategies for go-to-market, I think, is going to be heavily affected by that, now that I think about it, especially now that they're moving everything to the Base app. you're going to get the marketing engine of Coinbase behind you if you're a part of any of these projects. So that's actually quite interesting as well. I want to say a quick shout out to Lisa and Chris and the gang at Cantina. Why am I not following them? Big part of Permissionless and NYC. Got to know them and their team quite a bit. They're big for them to be partnering with Coinbase. So congrats to them. Ken, any thoughts that you have specifically on any of these that, again, trying to bring the experience of DeFi closer to the user, but in an interesting way, right? Because Robinhood is coming. Coinbase is building this moat. They're building their own. If anything, they're building their own walled garden as well.
It's like the Apple, but for crypto, where they lock you into potentially. I'm thinking about the Perplexity AI. I didn't think Perplexity was doing too well, but maybe they have. They had like that search thing, but maybe they kind of fine-tuned it a little bit. But yeah, it's interesting that they partner with Perplexity. They should look into BitTensor, which would be further their decentralized AI narrative with the centralization. But Perplexity could be awesome. I haven't used them in a while, so that's interesting. It's on trend, as Chase was saying, and I think crypto and AI has a great pairing. But we're still kind of finding where the synergies lie, but I think there's something there for sure. So I think Coinbase is kind of just, maybe they're just dipping their toes into that with Perplexity. But if you're listening, anyone at Coinbase, there's this whole BitTensor ecosystem even listed on your platform that you could plug into that could further the decentralized narrative. So, but this is awesome. I mean, they are building a moat. I mean, I myself use Chase, so maybe I'll get some USDC back, redeem all that. That would be pretty cool. Coinbase has been. I have a love-hate relationship with Coinbase.
Most people in our space do.
Yeah, it's the one way I kind of have gotten my funds into the space, but so it's love-hate. But I'm excited to see how these come to fruition and how they touch other people's lives and how further people can integrate crypto without even knowing it. So it's exciting.
Yeah, if anybody from Perplexity happens to be listening, I followed you on Twitter just to kind of submit that. But if I could get an access code for Perplexity Comet, I would really appreciate that. I'm happy to beta test that for you. Happy to do whatever you want. I'll make a video. I'll do a vlog.
So Perplexity kind of like, they were just doing the search engine where I switched my whole Google search engine to Perplexity at one point, and then I turned it off because I was like, this isn't really doing what I wanted to do. But maybe they've pivoted, they've changed, they've upgraded their system. You use Perplexity, Chris?
Yeah, from a automation standpoint, the agents at Perplexity, the workers, are fantastic. And Comet, Comet is a way to use all of those workers in a way of let's just call it headless browsing agents.
So now it evolved on the search feature where it's a little bit more of an agent that's actually acting as a web agent. That's actually
exactly. Think about ChatGPT agent, but the Perplexity version with Comet. Okay. And you have to now you can get Comet right now if you pay $200 a month, but I already pay.
Sure. Claude Code, GPT.
I don't know where we fell for this at some point, but my streaming TV bill and my AI bills are ridiculous right now. And I'm just like, how did we even get to this point? Right. It's just like, yeah, it's a really great productivity hack, or, it's a great way to get away from cable. But now it's like, I know for a fact we're spending more on streaming services than I ever spent monthly on cable. And now, unfortunately, my kids are like going to cry if I take away one thing or another. So I should just double down. Just say we got to pinch some pennies here, kids.
I haven't even crunched the numbers, but I even just got the cloud gaming service.
Oh no,
GeForce. What am I?
You got GeForce now? Oh no.
Yeah, but man, I was playing a game last night and it was on my little device that doesn't have that much power.
On your
I
Odin
was
too?
streaming. Yeah, and I was like, this might be the way. This might be the way.
Ken and I have a gadget problem, ladies and gentlemen. So if you see a gadget or if you see me tagging Ken anytime I see a cool gadget, like I should be getting my Solana Seeker sometime in the next
Oh,
week or
you gotta
two.
let me know. Yeah.
We're gonna be putting that thing through its pace. It's gonna be the most beautiful hardware wallet I've ever had. Look at that. Is that an Ambernick?
This is an Ambernick.
Look at that.
I loaded Stardew Valley on this for my wife. She's loving it. She just flips it open and boom. So I mean,
wow.
I had too many
W
gadgets
husband. W.
Yeah,
husband.
I'm trying. Put in a good word for me, but I'm trying.
Got you, bro. He's a good one. He's a keeper.
Let me record. Well, it's already being recorded.
There we go. Chase, are you a gadget guy?
Not really. No, I'm a minimalist guy.
Good for you. My
Yeah,
goodness.
smart, dude. Come
Smart, man.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Growing up, my family had a lot of crap and never had to buy things ever. And then moved out and realized how much of a pain it was to have these things stored and collecting dust everywhere.
It's a pain.
You're my hero, brother. I don't know how you do it, but I mean, my house, we need to do the same thing. We do purges every 3 months, and it's just every time I'm like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
To me, it's a choice between more Bitcoin or more stuff. And
that's my vantage point. But I live in a house with all women. So
yeah. Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, I represent 16% as a male of this household.
16.
Yeah, I'm very well outnumbered in this house. So,
do you have any pets or?
That's why he's in crypto.
Yeah. That's why I'm in crypto. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Speaking of crypto, and we'll end on this. This will probably be the last time we talk about Tether making a shit ton of money, to be honest. But they just posted $4.9 billion in profit in Q2. That is absolutely insane. We talked about them making 2.5 billion in Q3 last year, which is why there are so many institutions wanting to come down and create stablecoins so they can get to this level. But credit the price of Bitcoin going up along with yields from T-bills, because they are absolutely killing it. For those who don't know, Tether has less than 20 employees. So if you're thinking of a reason why they're profitable, there's your answer. Number one, very low overhead. But they do have a report here, and it'll be in the show notes. You can go check it out at the Total Value Locked if you want access to that. Specifically with what their actual holdings are looking at. So we're looking at 162 billion in assets. But so this is what backs USDT. And I'm glad they do this now, because for many years, Tether was not very transparent about what was backing their stuff. They are now, which is good, which of course, Chase, to address your point, they're going to need to be part of, have a spot in the US, because monthly attestation is required as part of the Genius Act. But if you just look into what they've got, they have 105 billion in T-bills. They own more T-bills than 80% of the world, which is a ridiculous amount.
Like number 6 country, like if you're to treat them as a country or something.
They were 18 is where they're at. They were nipping on the heels of Norway and Germany. They may have passed them.
I think you needed to look at like within the last 5 or 10 years sort of thing, because if you look at the last 5 or 10 years, they're like the 4th or 5th biggest buyer of T-bills.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, they're not as high as like, Japan and Germany, but they're there. Or I'm sorry, Japan and China, but they are there. This is what's powering a lot of USDT. So people who are a little scared of Tether and USDT or USDT Zero, which what it is the omnichain version, this is exactly proof of reserves on what they're doing. And what they're doing besides that is they've got 8 billion in gold and silver, because they have a gold-backed stablecoin called XAUT. Bitcoin, they have almost $9 billion in Bitcoin, and adding to it at a frightening clip. So a lot of their profit, to be quite honest, is from this sector right here. I mean, for that's easy money, 5 billion from these two alone. So I mean, for them to post a nearly $5 billion profit on Q2 in this environment, where, I mean, everyone's coming for Tether next quarter because the Genius Act is ready. Bank of America HSBC, all these other groups have already said they're going to be issuing stablecoins because they want this. They want all of this. So this is exactly the motivation that a lot of these institutions are going to have. So if you think that there isn't anything in DeFi in terms of and digital assets in terms of what's out there, you're wrong, because they're all coming for this number. They want these numbers.
I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if it was the Clarity Act or one of them, the stablecoin companies weren't allowed to hold anything else other than T-bills. So I think that was a huge contentious issue for Tether because of, like you just said, how easy that money was for them on the precious metal and Bitcoin segment, and they're going to have to give that up under the currently drafted framework.
Well, they're probably going to have to figure out a way to spin all that off.
Yeah.
That's probably what will happen, is that it'll all be spun off. I mean, it's an international company anyway. They'll work it out. I'm not really worried about how they're going to do it, but yeah, big news from Tether. I mean, that's a monstrous number for a company that supposedly has a fairly bad rep in this space. But I mean, I'm a believer. You know, hats off to Paulo Arduino and crew for just, I mean, they're just killing. In fact, I want to say that they have minted, what is it? They've minted $5 billion in USDT. No, it's more than that. I think it's like 13 billion. I'm trying to remember where I saw the number. I mean, they just minted 2 billion 2 weeks ago of USDT. So, you know, it's liquid, guys. It's well backed. So, you know, you're looking for a decent thing to get into. Now, in terms of their market cap, as you know, USD or Tether itself is, you know, the fourth highest by market cap by a large margin over USDC. This number in terms of like dominance is going to shift after this quarter for sure. But yeah, USDT is to be studied, as they like to say in the trenches.
On another note on that, I think there's more Tether still being printed or created now, which is usually another bullish indicator.
Oh yeah,
a bit of a I think like 90-day delay from like something like that. I kind of forget what the math was, but usually Tether gets printed, you wait a little while, and Bitcoin pops.
Exactly. So yeah, that should be a really great indicator in my opinion for where it's going to go. I mean, I still think $5 Tether is on the table. That's a joke. Control. That's a very old joke from 2020. But anyway, we'll end with this piece. And Roman Storms, the jury has been, I guess the jury came to a little bit of a deliberation. Guilty on count number 2, but not guilty or unanimous on count number 1 for money laundering. The sanctions evasion, not guilty. Big news. This is interesting because Tornado Cash isn't on the OFAC list anymore, but due to the, I guess, honestly, regardless of what happens here, I personally think he gets pardoned. But we'll see. We shall see. Today will be interesting with this. It's not going to move the markets at all, obviously, but with regards to freedom and what they've built, at least from a software development standpoint.
Yeah. You may see new builds, new projects, more developers come in.
Oh, there's already a bunch in the works based off of what's going on right now. So we'll see. Guys, that's our show for today. I want to thank Ken and Chase for being here today. Chase, please let everybody know where people can find you at nept.finance.
Yeah, nept.finance. Lending, borrowing, got some of the best rates in DeFi for just passive lending, especially for stable coins, USDT, USDC. And yeah, it's a pretty powerful platform. Multiple accounts, cross-collateralized. You can lend and earn your yield while you're borrowing against it. And we're about to deploy a bunch more cross-chain management tools. So you can open your position on Neptune and move your tokens around or move your tokens into Neptune much more seamlessly. And yeah, behind the scenes, there's a lot of really exciting things we're doing with a yield competition coming up, as well as Chris he's smiling because he got into the pilot and crushed everybody on the. Anyway, well, we'll get into that later, but.
Oh, I'm making a ton of content about this. Let me tell you.
But yeah, Neptune Finance, nep.finance is the domain. Check it out. And yeah, bring over your stables if you want to make decent yield.
Yeah. And, more building on the EVM side of Injective as well. So, making it much easier to get in there. Been a big fan of Neptune from the beginning. We met Chase back in, my gosh, Chase, it's almost going to be a year since I met you and Keegan.
I think it was longer than that, no? It's got to be a couple of years. I think we're going back to like Texas.
Maybe. Like,
Yeah.
Time flies.
It all blurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's been like 5 or 6 conferences now that we've seen the Beacon crew. So
that's true. That's true. And somebody else I met at a conference, Ken from Taoshi. My good sir, tell me more about how the group can find you.
Yeah, Taoshi.io.
Ooh, I like the look, sir. This is all you.
Thank you. Yeah, I coded this up myself.
Yes,
working with wonderful designers. Funny, I'm working on some new stuff that you guys will be seeing very soon, all with Taoshi, of course. So be paying attention to Taoshi on Twitter at Taoshi.io. My own personal Twitter is Raleigh_CA. I make a lot of content on BitTensor. So if you're looking for more BitTensor content, just to, learn more about BitTensor, it's a little bit of a hard ecosystem to understand. Check me out, Raleigh_CA. Like I said, Taoshi's also putting out some products, Glitch, which is built on top of proprietary trading network, or SN8. We're gamifying trading, so we kind of put on this trading competition. This is a high level, of course, trading competition, and we collect that data from all our miners and all our smart traders, and we built a system on top of that. So check out Glitch, which is coming soon, and then some other interesting things coming up here soon that I might be looking at on my second monitor. So you don't want to miss it. Maybe we'll release the information on Beacon ourselves.
Hey,
so
I like
you
it.
never know. You got to tune in. So you don't miss anything.
I like it.
Tune in. But
Greg's telling me not to blame all this on my girls. Now.
So the pleasure you having me again, Chris.
Of course, anytime. We do this show every week, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. We've been doing this show since December of 2021, guys. The whole goal is to talk about the news and educate you, all of our audience, on how things like this affect your portfolios. If this gives you any education, please come check out our free group and learn more. And of course, follow our panelists. They're fantastic. We thank them so much for their time. They're very gracious in helping, provide just some really great analysis, really great minds that we always have on our panel. We're going to have another really great panel next week. Just to give you the preview, we're going to have term finance on, as well as some of the other great panelists we have in our ecosystem. We're getting that all nailed down right now, but you're going to have a great show next week. Join us again, 1 p.m. Eastern here on all of our streaming platforms, and we'll see you next time. Take care, as we say here in the group. Beacons up. Thanks down. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Still need outro music.